If this is your first time or your usual time with us, then welcome to XboxEra. We provide a platform for the Xbox community from our forums and Discord, our main site with the latest news and reviews, and our podcasts like the XboxEra podcast and You Had Me at Halo. We exist, our focus on the Xbox platform front and center, because so many media publications out there don't. We love this community and believe Xbox really can be the very best place to play. If you love what we do, help us. You can join as a YouTube member, or even better, subscribe to us on Patreon. You help us grow and get plenty of perks to enjoy as a token of our appreciation. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And as always, thanks for sticking around. This podcast is brought to you by executive producers Torn Raptor and Top. Hello, friends, and welcome to this very special non-numbered episode of the XboxEra podcast, where we've managed to put Nick in a bin somewhere in Australia and just have the two people that have actually played Starfield on the show. So that come Saturday, we don't have to spend too much time about it. You know, Nick can talk about it a bit if he wants to, but you guys that actually want to hear about Starfield, you won't have to put up with Nick interrupting or falling asleep or anything like that. Joining me, as usual, is Jesse, who did a fucking fantastic job of the main review. Oh. Hi, Jesse.
Hello, and thank you. It was a lot of fun, and yes, a lot of work.
Yeah, and we have to give an absolutely massive shout out to Predrag, whose efforts to, and if you haven't, dear listener / viewer, if you haven't gone and clicked the written review, just go check it out, because holy shit, XboxEra is showing the rest of the industry how it's done. It's amazing, and Predrag deserves all the kudos for his work there. But yeah, Starfield reviews have dropped. Jesse, we're allowed to talk about it now. Isn't that great?
It is. It's nice. Mostly positive. A lot of the negatives I've seen have mostly just been that it's too much an RPG and not enough of a you're always super powerful feeling shooter, which is a weird thing for me with a Bethesda RPG. Like, more RPG is what I think actual Bethesda game studios fans wanted. So it is very odd that it then gets this weird, different look, I think, especially your first timer. How was it for you coming into it?
Well, yeah, I did and if you haven't watched it, there's a short video, it's like 7 minutes or something like that on the channel. Obviously I wasn't doing the main review, but Bethesda were kind enough to provide some additional copies for the team, and I got one of them. I went in knowing that every single time I've played any Bethesda game from Morrowind onwards, I've bounced after like 1 or 2 hours, because I've just been like, it's too much. I'm sorry. I quit. I can't do it. I don't care. But sci-fi is my jam. Like, I grew up on this stuff. I was brought up on it, and but it still happened. It did kind of happen. So when I read in some of the other outlets' reviews about, it takes too long to get going, I love a good story, and I think the way that Bethesda are unraveling this yarn is really, really good in Starfield. And again, we're not going to get spoiler or anything particularly here, so don't fret. But after the first 4 hours, I came off of PC, and I'm like, I'm going to bed, I'm brushing my teeth, and I'm like, man, it's just too much. This ship system building. I think the thing that did it for me was I went to color in my ship. I just wanted to change my ship color, and it felt like this really arduous process. I realized later on you can actually select all and just apply the colors all at once. But my brain was just, there's too many systems, and I went to bed thinking it's going to happen. I'm going to have to be the guy that was like, yeah, it's not for me. And sometimes that's okay, right, folks? We all have games that you hear all the hype and people buy into the FOMO, and then you pick it up and you're like, what? This isn't for me. I've done it in my youth, right? I don't do it so much now. But I really loved the setting, and I wanted to love Starfield. So the next time I loaded it up, I was like, right, I'm going to ignore everything that scares the crap out of me from a complexity point of view. I am just going to golden path this stuff. I'm going to pretend Fable 3's golden trail of go here and do this exists, and I'm going to follow it, and then I'm going to ignore everything else unless something really intrigues me. And I think the beauty of, as I'm discovering, of games like this is that eventually something will intrigue you.
Hmm.
And suddenly you're like, I'm just going to take a left when I should take a right. And I've gone off like it's I can't stop playing it. Like it's been a long time since I've been up till 2 a.m. on a work night going, oh my God, just got to finish this quest. Like, but you know, the quest particularly that I discussed with Jesse, he said, go do this one. And he's like, he didn't give me any spoilers. He just said, go do this one. And man, the payoff for it at the end, I was like, what is great. Like, there's
Hmm.
these wonderful little moments and little jokes. I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. But what was it like for you to have spent, well, they gave us two plus weeks with the code, right?
Hmm.
So
That's
obviously I
becoming a
know I was
trend,
out in
by the way.
Gamescom.
I just got something else in that I get 2 weeks with, which is pretty cool.
Very nice, especially as it's one of those trickier games.
And
But yeah,
there's
what was it
too much
like for
fun.
you to be at, you know, you've got to write the review, you know that you want to spend a decent amount of time with the game. How many hours did you spend in the end?
110, 120.
Wow, that's
Um,
amazing.
but like a lot of that, a fair amount of that was after I was done making all. Like I had the review done 6 days after getting the code, and I'd put I don't know 80 hours in. Um,
Yeah.
but then I spent many days making all the footage and doing all the things that ate into playing more. But even once I was done making the 32-minute long 5,500 word review and making um, this footage, this was about 2 hours on Series X. That's being shown right now. 35 minutes on Series S, about an hour and 10 minutes on PC, making the traits and the backgrounds, and then doing all the skill tree articles, which were all just manually written while reading the in-game text. Then I got back to
Yeah.
the game after doing that and put in like another 40, 50 hours going through New Game Plus. So yeah, I feel like I gave it enough time to know at first, and then I wanted to dive back in. And it is very, it's a curious thing because people are going to look at like the huge tentpole sites like IGN and GameSpot both gave it sevens, which, you know, who cares? It's just a score. But IGN France gave it a 9, IGN Brazil gave it a 9.5, IGN Japan gave it a 10, and IGN Spain gave it a 10. So even within their own organizations, you could call it, they're an outlier, which is a
Yeah.
weird thing because for us, like, we don't have that many different teams that can all play it together, but the three of us that have been all feel this way about it. Like, we all agree. So
Yeah.
if you're wondering, it was myself, Sick Mechanic Co., and Pre-Drag were the three. I got 3 codes, and we're the three that were playing it. And we're all in agreement and absolutely adoring it. I
Yeah.
had the feeling, and I had said it on the Discord and like X and stuff. I just knew the game was so hyped, and discourse around it had become so toxic that I was not going to be surprised if there were a lot of low scores, which would get you attacked for other games. Like, you're not going to
Yeah.
see a 5 out of 10 on a new tentpole Mario game or Zelda or The Last of Us or God of War. You just don't see those, and those games tend to have a lot more tens. People always talk about the Xbox tax on OpenCritic and Metacritic. It's not a tax so much as Xbox doesn't get as many tens, but they get way more eights to tens. Like, they get a lot more higher, but then a mix of some very low that others don't always get. So it ends up being it man, it feels reductive to say it because I personally hate scores and don't like doing them, but they are a necessary evil. It just feels like some games you just know they're gonna get a lot of tens in their coverage, and there's no
Yeah.
avoiding it.
I feel like there's two problems. Like, and we're kind of, I don't want to spend too long on this because it's not specifically related to Starfield, but there is the trend of chasing SEO. Starfield is trending, so you see a bunch of terrible websites just churning stuff out to mention Starfield, be it mostly negative. And then you get the other aspect of there's a general bubble now that I think exists within gaming that do not want, I guess, what I would call traditional video games that are ambitious and deep and crazy. They want very simple, go from A to B. I'm a hero.
Yeah, I mean,
Games.
they just might not like RPGs, and this is the most RPG that Bethesda has done in a while. It's way more RPG than Fallout 4 or Skyrim. It is very much the, you want to pickpocket someone? Well, you got to put one talent point in there. You want to use your boost back? You got to put a talent point in there. You want to use the targeting system in your ship? You got to put a talent point in there. Like, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of choices that become very impactful in that you just can't do this thing now, or you can do this thing now. Like, choices matter. Choices for your skills matter. It's very, and there's a power ramp, and it's you building your character up in the way you want, which is what the best RPGs do. Like Baldur's Gate 3 starts very slow, and combat isn't good. It's okay, but it's not good to great until you hit level 5, which can take a long time. People are like, well, Baldur's Gate takes like 40 hours to really start, but I've been loving the whole time. But then this one comes out and it's like, man, it took like 5-10 hours to get good. It's like, yeah, it's a huge RPG. That's how they work. It's not to get good, because the writing and the story and all that are good. The exploration's good. All that's good right away. You're just talking about the power ramp because it's a first-person shooter and you're used to Halo or Destiny or something, or where you're immediately very powerful. Or it's the type the games do the I'm extremely powerful early on, and then it all gets stripped away from you. Like,
mechanic. That's
the Zelda thing. They did they did it in friggin' Tears of the Kingdom, where you're unbelievably powerful and then it all gets stripped away and you got to build it all back up. And people were fine with that. It takes a while for Tears of the Kingdom to make you feel powerful. But what it does, much like this game, is it's a very good constant ramp of new mechanics in the ways of you unlocking your powers through the temples in that one and getting all the fun physics stuff. Like, it's not very different, but the complaints about it are very different because of the perspective you're playing from, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I saw the head of Bethesda PR just tweeted "lol." I can only presume he's read. I think so. I saw Paste something give 5 out of 10 or something.
It's like 5 out of 10 is generally. These aren't sites that give 5s for mediocre. They give 5 for the worst and bad. Like 7 is mediocre on a lot of sites. Like IGN has had articles about why do so many games we cover get a 7, and it's because, well, they're just not going to waste people's times with a very bad game that they probably don't think will get much coverage. I get it, but it does mean you kind of default to a 7. So when you take a big game like this, it's worse than a 7 would be on most other sites, but then it's just the score. The actual text matters. And I can disagree on or be curious as to why it would take you 60 hours, let's say, to feel powerful when I felt powerful after a couple. And I had like 10 skill points and I started getting better weapons. I got a good sniper. I could take out most people with a single headshot because I had a modifier if I was sneaking. It's a Bethesda RPG that also plays like a great first-person shooter, or even a very good third-person.
Yeah, I have to admit, like, it was one of the things. Like, so I've been mostly playing for the benefit of the audience. And before I do this, there's a super chat here from Mohammed Sherez, who I think is normally Special Nick's favorite fan.
Sorry, Nick's
he
not
says,
around.
"Hi, Jesse and John. Hope it's a great stream. Super excited for Starfield. Didn't catch XboxEra's review yet. Wanted to play myself first later. Fair enough, but it should be mentioned if you haven't watched the video review yet. It is 99% spoiler-free. There is a small section where we call it out,
and everyone else talked about all that stuff anyways. So
yeah, no one.
It all came out. It all came out well before. So in their review guide, they're like, please just don't go into detail or mention this stuff ahead of time. And then everyone's just like blah 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 ahead of time. Like, Jesus Christ. Their PR was not thrilled, from what I can tell, with how loosey goosey people were with the. You may say you're playing it. You may say when the embargo is. You may not say anything else. Approach they went with, and everyone was just saying a lot of impressions and information about the game. Like people were like, "Oh, how long did it take you to beat it and then get to New Game Plus?" I'm like, I can't say. That's information about the game. They don't want that out yet. That's for the embargo. So, but then other people were just like, "Yeah, man, I'm 10 hours in. Finally beat it." And like, I don't even know if like saying the amount of hours in you are is okay. It's just like you don't have to say it.
Yeah, it's an odd one, and I think again the industry's desire to push console wars, to talk about it, to frame how video game discussion is put forward, is they have created a problem for themselves where the just writing an opinion, one person's opinion on a game, can earn you death threats and vitriol.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but as I was saying, so I've been playing. We were talking about it being a really good first-person shooter. I've been playing mostly on PC. Now I'm running at 340 by 1440. So
That's
I
a
can
lot of
run.
P's.
There's a lot of P's. It's freaking beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I've played on my Xbox console. I won't lie. I think you and I, we don't necessarily disagree, or you just have different opinions about what I'm willing to live with. It is a very stable 30 FPS. I don't disagree with
If
your
you
comments
haven't,
there.
go a day or two without playing it on PC, come to
Yeah,
Xbox, it feels fine. If I've just
yeah,
played PC,
it
it's
is
more
fine.
noticeable. Yeah, if you haven't
Yeah,
touched the PC version, it feels great. But if you've
yeah.
coming directly from like 120 FPS and you're going to 30, you're going to notice it.
It was very painful, but still, I haven't like you play for 5 minutes, you kind of get used to it, and I think the combat, just because I've experienced it at such a high frame rate, it does, in my opinion, suffer a smidge at that 30. But it's not like this, chuck it in the bin, it's no longer worthwhile. It's still a fantastic experience on both consoles. But the whole feel of the game, and I have like the texture work at times, because of their use of global illumination, there are very rare occasions in time of day where the lighting can look a bit weird. Just
Mhm.
sometimes, just some
Yeah, because
planets, it might just look a bit flat.
it's not baked in. It's what you get in real
Yeah,
life if lighting is in a certain space. Like if the sun's directly above you, everything looks like shit. There's no shadows being
yeah.
cast. Nothing. That's just how it looks. That's why people love the golden hours and they love light in the distance all the time. You can't
That's why I
do that
always
when you're not
make
faking
maps
it.
set at sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, just walking around and exploring everything. And I did a little section in my video. The doors. Like, I know this is a really weird thing to
Mm-hmm.
focus on,
No,
but like, did they have a door specialist
I
at
think so.
Bethesda that was like there are so many different doors and they all open in ridiculously cool ways. Like you'll have like an airlock and you'll have this like mechanism above it and and then it will spin and spin round in front. It just oozes class. It's really cool. And I've loved playing it from an FPS perspective. I think I complained to you that, oh man, they really need to have it so that when you crouch, you can slide into the crouch.
Mm-hmm.
And you just gently reminded me, hey, this is an RPG.
Yep.
Like there's a level for that. There's a perk for that, presumably, that I'm going to discover later on. So
Mm-hmm.
I, I'm
I
I'm stunned at some of the quests so far. Like I've had a really really good time at playing through it. Just want to show it off now on the stream. Like, so if you're watching the video version, you haven't seen this. This was Pre-Drag's artwork and design for the review, and you can see like the level of care and detail of taking Jesse's words and making it super pretty is it looks really cool.
mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think there are any racetracks in the game.
Well, the only thing you
Offhand,
ever
I'm sorry to
pilot is
say.
your ship, and I didn't see anything like that.
Yeah,
God, this is so good
maybe
looking.
maybe a mod. I know it looks so beautiful, and it's mobile friendly as well.
He worked hard
Bob
on that.
Lawpool
Yeah.
with super chat. He says, "Hello guys, cannot wait to play tomorrow. Work got in the way. I think a lot of people will be flying to New Zealand this evening.
It doesn't work. It's 8
I
it's a global launch. It would have already been up on
It's
New
a global
Zealand.
launch. Is it tomorrow? Sorry.
No, global launch
Oh, okay.
in exactly about 7 hours.
Wow. Exciting. I love that feeling when everyone's just excited and joint discovery and
Oh,
going off and playing.
I got one of these
You
hats,
know.
by the way. The dancers
Which
at
one?
the Neon Club. I have one of those hats. I want to get the outfit. I haven't been able to find that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a cool hat.
It looked real ridiculous.
I'm loving some of the random things you can find as well. I've started doing a quest, and again, there's no story spoilers here. This is a side quest. I'm just going to say the name of the quest because it doesn't give anything away. Mantis.
Hmm.
Have you done that one?
Yep.
Yeah, like I was halfway through it and I was, "Oh, this is easy, this is easy." And then suddenly I come into a room and everything has jumped like 30 levels. So the turrets are like level 46 or something insane.
Yeah, you got to pay
Like I'm
attention
like,
to.
"Whoa,
You've got to
what's
pay
going on?"
attention to the level of the planet. So, like, you can get
Yeah.
quests that are 20 levels above you, and if you're not paying attention when you hover over a planet to travel to it, and it just says like level 45, and you go there, and yeah, it can be rough.
Yeah, it was hardcore. I had to run away bravely. I bravely ran away after a
Mm.
little while because I got past them after some peeking and shooting
If
and then these
if you
giant
solve,
robots.
if you don't mess up the sequence to walk in, you can completely avoid the turrets. But you got to figure out that.
There's a sequence.
If you
I
find,
didn't even realize that.
yep, there's a lot of there's almost
Wow.
always a solution outside of just shooting.
That's awesome. See, like, and this is the thing. This is a whole new. I'm new to Bethesda RPGs, right? And I'm loving that they've made one that is built for me. I think.
Mhm.
Lots of love for your review here in the chat, by the way, Jesse. You got to be pleased with that after the hours that you put
So
in.
the
So
good thing is being a
I'm glad to see it.
9.7 means I'm not just the insta 10. If I didn't have as many issues with the loading as I did, I probably would have gone 10. But playing the game that long, I probably loaded about 4,000 times, so it adds up. Um, but
Yeah, and I think that's the big negative, isn't it, from the
it
review?
is in
For
it's
like,
the main con for me in the when you're doing a big thing on one planet, it's fine, but a lot of quests have you constantly popping back and forth. On console, it is a little longer than it was for me on PC, but even then, it's not
mhm.
bad. The loading's never bad. It just is constant when you're in between certain quests or when you're in parts of quests that are travel here, talk to someone, travel here, talk to someone, travel here, do a big combat thing. It starts to feel a bit much. Um, but there's a lot of tens, like a lot of them. So I'm nowhere near the top. So the trolls haven't gotten down to me yet to yell at me. I think there's more angry people questioning the lower ones than there are questioning the higher ones right now because it's not a poorly reviewed game. It's a very well reviewed game. It's mostly very high. It's not mostly very low. And so when you're an outlier low, people are just kind of like, what? When you're an outlier high, the trolls get very mad, like with Redfall and other stuff, where I played the game twice and I really enjoyed it. I had been around a 7.5 until I did the entire second act. The story picked up, the AI picked up, like everything picked up, and I really enjoyed it. It ended up raising it for me, and I wouldn't change it now. I know
Yeah,
people are like, "Oh, you wish you gave it lower." I was like, "No," because then I would be lying. That's not what I want to give it. Um, but people really
I
like
really
to
hope.
they like to rail against Hive Mind, but then get very
Yeah,
mad if you don't agree with what they want. So
yeah, it's an odd one, and I just selfishly I really hope that folks, as much as I want them to watch the video, and the video is 100% an incredible watch. Like I really enjoyed watching the premiere. We had over 700 people watching that premiere live at one point,
wish it was 4K.
which was super cool. Um, I hope that people do take the time to read the written one because I think in amongst that, and you can't really do this in a video review, but just in case you were not aware, Jesse mentioned it at the beginning across all the other content, we have videos on every trait, every background. We have
Made a playlist of it.
uh, yeah, there is a whole playlist on the YouTube channel now for those really wanting to dive into Starfield content and get an idea of how it plays before the actual game releases. Yeah, so every class, gameplay on Series X, gameplay on Series S, PC at Ultra. Um, you should have a good time with this, with any
And
luck.
if you're looking to like
So
set up your
plenty of the
builds, I broke down every single skill, which there's like 100, and every rank of that skill, of which there are 4. And I typed it all out and I laid it out as nicely as I could. So that's all on the site too.
yeah. If you look at the actual site, Predrag's created a kind of like a Starfield midsection, like we do the podcasts on the site, and it's got every link there so that you can go and just have a read through and have a think about how you want to approach this. I spent 45 minutes in the character creator with my missus, like trying to make a digital version of me. And I can't help but feel I came out far more handsome in virtual life than I am in real life. But
Tends to happen.
he's got a gnarly scar on his eye. It's but he's got the mohawk and he's got the beard and he's got grey hair, so it kind of works in my opinion.
I wonder, are people going to apologize to Nick? I think he ended up being
for
right.
what?
Oh, his take about this game.
What?
And people,
Oh,
yeah. We'll see. I doubt they will, because he's very annoying. So I get it.
No one
and
wants to
for this,
apologize
we
to
did open up a thread on the forums, which has got some questions in it. And if you've got more, you can feel free to super chat them in, because I'm actually going to close that thread now. Just for anyone that had questions or comments about anything. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you want to know stuff, drop us a super chat. We'll try and get around to them. If not, if you're a Patreon member, you can access the
Could have. I just
forum.
closed it.
Oh, well, it's too late for you now.
Mm-hmm.
Should we tackle some of those and see if we can answer some of those questions?
I will start up. I can just put it over here. Boop. From Mort. Oh, this is a great idea. I will probably not watch live, though. He did. He's been in chat. I want to play the game a bit first, but I will save it and watch later on. I can throw you a few questions, though. How many planets have you visited? A couple hundred. How about you?
For me, probably like 25, something like that. I've only played for about 20 hours, so I'm not the gospel law on this.
What is your favorite character build? Well, I've only got one so far, and I'm up to level 52, I think. It's a mix of pilot, shoot, stealth for the most part with hacking, and full persuasion. So I'm like the rebel, but I'm a real goody two shoes ace space pilot who can talk his way out of anything, pretty much.
See, I'm definitely a space scoundrel to some degree. I can't remember every perk I picked now, and I know I picked the adoring fan to join me on my adventures everywhere. He is really annoying, and so far he's not given me anything.
He's very funny.
Of use.
The things they give are just the gifts you can get are just resources, which are very useful if you get into crafting. But I
don't want to get into crafting.
He's really good at fighting. If you notice, he's actually really jacked. Like, he's big and he's really tough at fighting. So if you bring him with you to fight people, it's pretty good. But I found him very funny because I did kids stuff.
Yeah,
because I wanted to see the parents. I did adoring fan and I did wanted, so I can do more damage when I was low health. And boy, did that come in handy a lot.
Yeah, man. That was a good question.
Which faction did you enjoy the most? You probably haven't done enough.
I've only done one.
Yeah,
I've only done one, and I really did enjoy it.
They're very good
quest to do, though.
They're very good in very different ways, and it is worth doing all of the faction stuff. Like, it's all good. The main quest is the best, but the faction quests are very good. So I would highly recommend doing them all.
Yeah, I'm going to get round to them, but I've only done the Space Cowboys. That's the only one I've done so far, and it was really good. It was a really good quest line. I kind of saw the thing coming, like the twist, because I just got the vibe from one of the characters as I was talking to him halfway through. I was like, "You," but yeah, it was a really cool fight, and then like the whole scenario and the battle and the handcrafted section was just badass. It was really, really cool. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. What do we got next?
Well, we got one from Not Jack, who is I believe he's a patron, right? He just didn't put in the thread, so I'll count it. He's a YouTube member. Yeah. Favorite non-spoiler sandboxy moment?
Oh, I've got a good one for this. I actually included it. If you watch my video, I didn't talk about it, but I included the clip. There, I was just flying, and I encountered a ship, and it was like, "Hey, do you know where Uranus is?" And I was like, "Yes, I know where Uranus is." "You better, it's right behind you. Smell you later." And he just went off. That was it. I was just like, "What?" It was great. I loved it.
There was man, I'm trying to think. God, there's been so many. I've had a couple where I had a really powerful shotgun on a very low gravity planet, and I killed something that an enemy bug that was jumping at me, and it pushed it like 400 or 500 feet in the air. It just kept floating because I hit it so hard and it started so fast and it just kept going. And I just followed it and I followed it, and eventually, like after 10 minutes, it finally came down and just
Amazing.
real gentle. It's like, yeah, everything's simulated. That's always the thing with them. They don't really fake it. They like if someone says, "I'll meet you at a cave," I walked with him to the cave. I walked the entire way, and there he was walking next to me going to it. He didn't just disappear and appear in it. And those types of things only happen because, they put in the work to actually simulate it all instead of having it just be faked like so many other games do.
Yeah. There was one quest where I had to go do some stuff on a farm and go through and go down, and we had to track in the mud all these different boot prints and find out which direction. And that companion on that particular journey was with me every step of the way as we had to make our way all the way down through to find this hideout. It was very, very cool. I saw a quick one I've just shouted out in the chat. Does it run well with ultra wide monitors? The video I did is in 3440 by 1440, so I have an ultra wide monitor. Flawless performance. And I think if we're talking about negatives as well, like outside of the loading screen, some odd decisions. Like I know that you can use the game bar or you can use other applications to tell you your frame rate, but there was no in-game frame rate counter to turn on. So like from my perspective, I thought it was weird that I couldn't say to the game, please target 60, and that's it. Like there was no option to select that. It was just the game's going to run how it's going to run. And I was like, well, wait.
There's a heck of a lot more
Are
options
you
than they
running it?
normally give, but yeah, it's still not like
Yeah, it was still. Yeah, I mean it's a minor thing. Like the game was performing at 120 hertz for me pretty much all of the time. And it's been flawless on PC. I haven't had a single crash, single issue
yeah.
whatsoever.
The only crashes
and that is the
I ever had was a known issue with the previous version that was fixed in the patch, which was if you were capturing footage on PC with your GPU hardware accelerating, it could crash, but they've patched that and it's been fine.
nice. Yeah, and yeah, this is the Windows Store version of the game, I should say.
Yeah.
So this isn't Steam, and it was really, really good.
We got more questions from Anorexic. I'm sure the game is great and all, but many will be looking at Starfield as a milestone for Xbox, the beginning of the fruits of their acquisitions. With that in mind, does the future look bright? Will this mark a shift in attitudes, or is it simply a great playing game that is, in the current landscape, won't have the same impact as Skyrim or Bethesda greats? Is this game good enough for PlayStation or Switch owners to consider grabbing an Xbox? I would say yes, it looks bright, and yes, it is that good. Not everyone's going to agree.
Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah.
I think you'll see it. You'll see it over the coming days, all right? You'll see the narrative be spun. You'll see it. There'll be some terrible place will spit out an opinion article that Starfield isn't enough. And they'll talk about how anemic the first party slate has been. And I'm just like, and again, people with the brains, eyes will roll, and we'll all continue with our lives. And I think at a certain point, Microsoft has to just stop giving a shit about playing the game and just play their own game and just ignore it all, because it's you're never going to change these minds. You just got to keep just churning out games and doing your own thing. But hey, it's really good, so don't worry about it. Yeah. Good question.
It's weird. I'm telling it to not capture the cursor, but it definitely is. All right. The next one is from good old Collingwood asking if we could have more people on with us, but it's like, it's really hard to plan, and it's the middle of the day for most people. So it's tough because a lot of them are just working their regular jobs or doing their own streams. So it would have been really cool, but unfortunately it's tough. We put this together last second, and that's just two of us. So Dio Game.
Because I've got no kids, so it was easy to do.
Yeah, you're actually able to do it. Dio Game. Hi there. My question is pretty straightforward. Part of the joys of a Bethesda role-playing experience is being able to stumble upon something unexpected and have it divert your attention for half a play session. How does Bethesda balance this with the realities of over 1,000 planets, and does Radiant content stay more interesting than, say, Skyrim's fetch quests or Fallout 4 settlements? I definitely think it's way more interesting in that it's mostly handcrafted now. The Radiant stuff is much more you like clearing out bandits from a place, or you like space combat, you can do those forever. We've got bounties that will let you constantly have reasons to go to different systems and do this. But the actual quests are almost all seem to be handcrafted. There can be very short, radiant point of interest quests because the way the game works, and people have been losing their shit over it, every planet's there as like a structure. And when you choose to land on a spot, it creates a big ass, like 1 kilometer tile that gets procedurally placed, handcrafted content that are points of interest. So it has to go by the rules of the planet, and it'll just find the right places to put stuff, make it all work. You can hit a boundary if you go far enough, but if you move your ship, it will then generate another kilometer, and you can do that across an entire planet. And old points of interests and old landing sites will get pruned over time, because otherwise, my save file is almost 400 megabytes. I imagine if they kept everything forever, it would already be a couple of gigs. So they have to prune, otherwise it's too much telemetry and information to have to keep, is my guess. So when you land, oh god.
No, do you remember the PS3 Skyrim save issue? Where the save file got too big and it couldn't handle it anymore. It just would crash the game.
With my mediocre upload, jumping between, I had to plan when I jumped between PC and console, because it had to upload like 100 megabytes, then it had to upload 200 then it had to upload 300 megabytes. Like, it had to just keep uploading, and it would take a little while because I don't have great upload. I have very good download, so once that was done, I get it right away. But yeah, it was and it's fully play anywhere. It just works between everything. The app that comes with it, if you buy the deluxe edition, gorgeous artwork. It's a whole app you get on Xbox, and if you get it on PC, you can go into the app and you can grab all 97 tracks from the OST as MP3s. They're just there. So if you just like browse files, go into that folder, you paid for them, they're your MP3s, they're all there, and you can just copy them and put them wherever you want. And that's how I got so much music for the review.
Yeah, it was great for video. Good question.
Next one from Commander Buck. Hello, gents. Finally, today is the day. How happy are you to finally be able to talk about this game? Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you. We're very excited, because it's been hard not to when so many others were, especially the ones that kept putting up bad info.
Yeah, my God. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. Like, I know there's been a lot of controversy about Bethesda's distribution of review code. I don't know whether they hold a grudge against certain outlets. Like, if you spend 6 months or 9 months of the prior to the game coming out churning out, like Game Rant as an example, churning out the most awful, let's compare this to this thing, let's compare Starfield to this banana, this banana's a better banana than Starfield, that is the kind of level of article that they were producing. I can kind of get the vibe of like, you know what, fuck those guys. Like, I get it, but I feel like missing out, I say respected, larger, more industry renowned publications like Eurogamer or Edge even is a bit odd. But then I see very, very, hey, we're a small publication, so I'm not going to poo it. But then I see very, very small.
All right. Yep. Hotspot just completely overheated. Nothing's running very well right now, of course. Wonder if I can just get it over StreamYard. Of course, running perfect. The only reason it broke is because I...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, how do I get it to just capture the...
God, even trying to go like a megabyte up, it won't do it. Hey, now it's finally green. Hello, everyone. How you doing? We're back. Sorry about that. It might look a little fuzzy.
Back?
Yeah, so I'm on a mobile hotspot. That's my only internet choice here at this address because life hates me. But I forgot to put a fan on it, and it is literally on a window being hit by the Florida noonday sun. So, oh, and there it goes again. God damn it. It goes down to 0. Like, it literally goes down to 0 for no reason. I don't understand it.
It's up quick then, huh?
Yeah, it's now. I'll let you know if it ever starts
We're
working.
here, we're back.
We're not. We were for 2 seconds. And then it just died again, even at 1,000 upload. But yeah, so
Oh, are we down again?
probably.
Are we down?
Yeah.
Are we down
No,
again?
it's literally giving me 0 connection to YouTube. I don't know why. I don't know why it does that.
Oh, it's just hotspots. They're just
Yeah,
not the one, are they?
it was absolutely perfect for 2 hours. What I didn't know. Oh, now it's back up. Hi. So yeah, what I didn't know is that it didn't have a fan on it and it shut down for being too hot. And when it reconnected, it's still way too hot, so it's not running very well. But yes, let's get through the last couple of questions while this is still green, if I can remember where they are.
I can read it out. I've got it open.
Go ahead. Hi everyone. Sorry about the break.
Yeah, we'll figure it out in post. Last questions are from good old Collingwood. He says, "Happy stargazing, Jon and Jesse. After your playthroughs, what mods do you want to see?" I would like to see a 60 FPS mod on console. That would be great. I fully expect one very quickly.
There will be mods that not 60, like it might hit 60, but there will probably be a unlock frame rate mod because
frame unlocked, yeah for
the
VRR displays maybe.
Yeah, it's not tied to everything else anymore, so it should be fine. I wonder if I turn my camera off, it might work better. There, no one needs to see me anyways.
Oh, I think it just ended the stream.
Did it?
Yeah, it just gave me the end of the video thing. I don't know. Maybe not. I might be wrong.
Yeah, you might have to refresh if you haven't. Well, saying that doesn't do much.
Yeah.
But yes,
and then
there will definitely be unlocked.
Yeah. I feel like maybe this Saturday, if I spend some time, I'll upload all your settings again. Maybe I host this Saturday. I'll do the production just to see how it feels.
It's
a
lot to pay attention to. I think it's fine, mainly just going through StreamYard. And it was perfectly fine before. The issue is that my hotspot overheated and is still molten hot, so it's just going to keep struggling.
And we tried to go. Yeah,
it is live. No, it would have worked fine if I had actually had the thing on. It would have been fine. But yeah.
Oh, never mind. Life lesson. Last question from Colbert. The day has finally come. First time I ever see EST. So I think he's staying up late tonight to be able to download the game.
I guess I played it.
I'll just see the chat.
Yeah, it's literally my hardware.
Oh man.
All right, but yeah, this thing is getting very hot again. So darn it, we would have gone longer, folks. Sorry, it really shit the bed on overheating horribly.
Yeah. Oh dear. Never mind. Love you guys. We'll see you on Saturday. Enjoy playing Starfield. Peace out.
Yep. Sorry for all the technical issues. Stupid heat. No one likes it. Goodbye.